Have you ever stood in your kitchen, holding a warm plate of scrambled eggs and toast, thinking to yourself, at least I'm eating something healthy? Maybe the floor felt a little cold under your bare feet, and your knees trembled just a bit as you reached for your tea. It's a quiet morning. No one's around. Just you, the kitchen light, and the belief that this breakfast, this routine, is doing your body good. But what if I told you that very breakfast might be the reason you've been feeling drained by 10 a.m.? That the slight dizziness when you step outside, the sudden lack of focus, or the weird muscle twitches you've been dismissing, they might not be signs of aging, but symptoms of something far more subtle and far more fixable. Because the truth is, eggs aren't the problem. It's what we eat with them. And for seniors like Frank, a 72-year-old widower living alone in Florida, that realization came the hard way. For decades, Frank started his morning the same way: 2 sunny-side-up eggs, 2 slices of white toast, and a hot mug of tea. It was simple, familiar, and comforting. But as the months passed, Frank began to feel a strange shakiness in his legs when he stood up from breakfast. Some mornings, he had to grip the counter just to stay balanced. His doctor ran tests. His blood pressure was normal, so was his heart. But the fatigue, the brain fog, the feeling like his body wasn't quite listening anymore, it was still there. Until one day, Frank heard something that changed everything. Maybe it's not what you're missing. Maybe it's what you're combining. That's what today's video is about. Because hidden in the most common, most innocent breakfast combos, like eggs and toast, eggs and soy milk, or eggs and tea, are interactions that can silently chip away at your energy, your digestion, your memory, even your balance. But here's the good news: no prescriptions needed. Just a few smart food swaps, ones that taste just as good, but help your body thrive instead of struggle. Over the next few minutes, you'll discover the 3 food pairings you must avoid with eggs, and 3 powerful combinations that could actually boost your eyesight, your bone strength, and your energy, especially if you're over 65. We'll also explore the best way to cook eggs to unlock every bit of goodness they offer. If you've ever felt like your body's working against you, feared slipping on the stairs, or just want to feel steady, clear, and light again, stay with me, because simple foods can change everything. Let's begin with a common breakfast mistake that might be sabotaging your mornings. Eggs and white bread. The comfort combo that fuels inflammation. You've seen it 1,000 times. Maybe it's been your go-to for years. A couple of eggs, sunny side up, resting next to 2 slices of warm white toast. It's the kind of breakfast that feels familiar, dependable, and harmless. But for someone like Linda, a 68-year-old grandmother from Ohio, that very plate became the silent source of a problem she couldn't name. Every morning, she followed the same routine: eggs on toast, a little butter, maybe some fruit on the side. But by mid-morning, like clockwork, she'd feel the fog roll in. Her hands would feel heavier, her knees wobbly. Sometimes her heart would race for no reason at all. She blamed stress, she blamed age. But deep down, she knew something wasn't right. What Linda didn't know was that her breakfast was triggering a blood sugar roller coaster that her body couldn't keep up with. Here's what happens. Eggs on their own? A nutritional powerhouse. They're rich in protein, choline, B12, all the things your brain and muscles need. But white bread? That's a different story. White bread is a refined carbohydrate. That means the fiber, which slows digestion and steadies your energy, has been stripped away. What's left hits your bloodstream like a sugar bomb. It spikes your blood glucose, floods your system with insulin, and then drops you hard. That crash is why you feel that 10 a.m. fatigue, that need another coffee moment, or even that shakiness in your legs when you stand up from the chair. And if that happens every day, your cells start ignoring insulin, your inflammation goes up, and the very nutrients you're trying to get from your eggs, they get drowned out by the chaos. But here's where it gets worse. This daily spike and crash cycle quietly lays the groundwork for chronic inflammation. Inflammation that damages your arteries, fogs up your brain, and makes you more vulnerable to falls, forgetfulness, and long-term illnesses like type 2 diabetes and Alzheimer's. It's not just about what you feel today. It's what builds up when your body's on this seesaw every single morning. Linda didn't realize any of this. Not until her grandson showed her a video about better breakfast swaps, and she tried something small. She replaced white toast with roasted sweet potato and sautéed spinach. Within 2 weeks, she wasn't reaching for that second cup of coffee. Her knees felt steadier, and for the first time in years, she said, "I felt like I had energy that lasted." That's the shift we're talking about. Not a diet, not deprivation, just smarter combinations. No prescriptions needed, just the right pairings. Linda at her kitchen counter, slicing a bright orange sweet potato, sunlight on her face, calm and clear. A woman in control of her morning again. Now let's move to the next pairing that seems healthy on the surface, but may be quietly draining your body of the very nutrients it needs to stay strong. Eggs and soy, the hidden clash that blocks nutrients. At first glance, it sounds like a match made in health heaven. Protein-rich eggs and heart-friendly soy milk. A modern breakfast, right? Perfect for anyone avoiding dairy, watching their cholesterol, or trying to eat clean. That's what Uncle Ray, 76 years old from Tucson, thought too. Every morning, he made himself a tofu scramble with a soft-boiled egg on top. Sometimes he'd wash it down with a glass of soy milk. It felt balanced. It felt smart. But within a few months, he noticed things weren't quite right. His energy dropped. His muscles felt slower to recover after his short daily walks. And oddly, his nails started to crack and peel. His hair looked thinner. He thought it was just aging. But when he mentioned it to his doctor, the truth came out. He wasn't absorbing the nutrients from his eggs. Here's why. Soy is rich in compounds called trypsin inhibitors. Sounds scientific, but here's the bottom line. These compounds interfere with your body's ability to break down proteins. And since eggs are packed with high-quality protein, that interference means you're not getting all the amino acids your body desperately needs for muscle maintenance, brain function, and energy. But it doesn't stop there. Egg whites also contain avidin, a protein that binds tightly to biotin, also known as vitamin B7. Biotin plays a major role in energy production, metabolism, and the health of your skin, hair, and nails. When you cook eggs, some of the avidin is deactivated, but when paired with soy, which already taxes digestion, your risk of biotin deficiency increases. The result? You can eat all the healthy breakfasts in the world and still feel like your body is running on empty. Ray didn't need a new pill. He didn't need a lab test. He just needed a simple switch. Instead of soy milk with eggs, he swapped to unsweetened almond milk. Instead of tofu and eggs together, he kept eggs at breakfast and saved soy for lunch in a stir-fry or miso soup. Within 3 weeks, his energy bounced back. His nails stopped peeling. And most importantly, he started feeling like himself again. This isn't about cutting out soy or eggs, it's about separating them. Giving each one space to do its job without interference, and once you do that, you unlock everything those foods were supposed to give you, the strength, the clarity, the calm digestion, without guessing or Googling symptoms in the middle of the night. Uncle Ray walking down his garden path, bending gently to pick a ripe tomato, his hands steady, eyes clear, quietly thriving. Next, we're going to explore a combination that feels so comforting, yet maybe slowing your digestion to a crawl and quietly increasing the toxic load in your body. It's a habit many seniors hold dear, and it might be time to reconsider. Eggs and tea, the comforting habit that's quietly weighing you down. It's a quiet morning. The steam from a cup of black tea curls into the air. A soft-boiled egg sits beside a piece of toast. The house is still. You take a sip, then a bite, and think to yourself, this feels good. But for Diane, a 65-year-old retired teacher from Vermont, that peaceful routine began to lose its comfort. "I thought it was in my head at first," she said. "But after breakfast, I'd feel this heaviness in my stomach. Not pain, just a weight. And by noon, I was either bloated or so tired I had to sit down. I didn't understand. I was eating healthy." But here's what Diane and so many others didn't realize. Tea and eggs don't always play well together. It comes down to something called tannins, natural compounds found in black tea, green tea, and some herbal blends. These compounds are often praised for their antioxidants, but they come with a hidden cost. They bind tightly to protein, iron, and calcium. That means when you drink tea alongside your eggs, the tannins can attach themselves to the very nutrients you're trying to absorb. Instead of fueling your body, that protein gets trapped. Instead of strengthening your bones, that calcium passes through unused. And instead of building your energy, the iron from the yolk, vital for oxygen in your blood, gets locked away. What's worse, tannins also slow digestion. When your stomach holds food longer than it should, it can lead to bloating, gas, and even increased absorption of toxins that were supposed to be flushed out. For Diane, that heavy stomach was her body waving a red flag. And the foggy head, the persistent tiredness, the brittle feeling in her bones, all signs that essential nutrients weren't getting where they needed to go. But here's the part no one tells you. You don't have to give up your morning tea, you just have to change the timing. Diane started drinking her tea 45 minutes after breakfast instead of with it. And during meals, she swapped in a glass of water with lemon or a splash of orange juice, which, by the way, boosts iron absorption instead of blocking it. The result? No more heavy stomach. No more mystery fatigue. And for the first time in months, her energy didn't dip before noon. This is the kind of change that sounds too small to matter until you feel it. Diane on her front porch, wrapped in a sweater, sipping her tea with the sun fully up, no longer rushing, no longer crashing. Now that we've covered the 3 most damaging pairings with eggs, it's time to flip the script. Because when you get the combination right, when you match eggs with the foods they want to work with, something incredible happens. Let's start with one of the most overlooked yet powerful pairings, a humble ingredient that can sharpen your vision and give your brain a boost, 1 spoonful at a time. Eggs and pumpkin, a vision-saving pair that powers you through the day. It was a foggy morning in late October when Tom, a 70-year-old retired mechanic from Michigan, realized something wasn't right. He was walking his dog Jasper when he noticed the street signs looked softer. Blurred at the edges, he squinted, rubbed his eyes. But the problem wasn't the weather, it was his vision. Tom had always taken pride in being sharp with his hands, sharp with his mind. But now he was starting to worry. What if I can't drive next winter? What if I stop seeing the things I love? Then, in a chance conversation at his local farmer's market, someone handed him a recipe for pumpkin soup with soft-boiled eggs. It's not just tasty, they said. It's brain and eye food. Real food. What Tom didn't know, and what most people still don't, is that eggs and pumpkin create a powerful synergy for protecting your eyes, your focus, and your long-term energy. Here's why it works. Pumpkin is loaded with beta-carotene, a plant compound that your body converts into vitamin A, crucial for sharp vision and a strong immune system. Meanwhile, eggs bring lutein and zeaxanthin, antioxidants that gather in your retina and act like natural sunglasses, filtering out harmful blue light and slowing age-related macular degeneration. But together, something remarkable happens. Vitamin A from the pumpkin activates the absorption of these antioxidants from the eggs, multiplying their power, protecting your eyes, and even enhancing your mental clarity. No prescriptions needed, no eye drops, just soup and a spoon. Tom gave it a try. Every other morning, he warmed up a bowl of pumpkin soup and dropped in a soft-boiled egg, yolk still golden and runny. 2 weeks in, he could read his mail without leaning into the lamp. A month later, his vision stabilized, and his optometrist told him, "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." But more than that, Tom felt better. No more post-lunch slumps, no more heavy eyelids at 3 p.m. Just steady, clear energy, the kind that carries you through a quiet afternoon with your dog, or a book, or a favorite old song on the radio. This is the kind of food that doesn't just fill you, it fortifies you. Tom stirring a pot of pumpkin soup in a cozy kitchen. His dog lying nearby, the morning light soft on his face as he carefully lowers an egg into the pot, a quiet ritual of care. And the best part? This isn't the only golden pairing that works like magic. Next, we're going to talk about a combination that helps your body do what it struggles with most after 60. Rebuild bone, maintain muscle, and prevent those dangerous falls that seem to come out of nowhere. Eggs and cheese, a bone-strengthening duo that keeps you standing tall. The fall wasn't dramatic. Mrs. Allen, 79, was just reaching for a teacup on the top shelf when her foot slipped. No scream, no crash, just a soft thud and a sharp pain in her hip that wouldn't go away. 2 days later, she was in a hospital bed with a fracture. One step and life looked different. I didn't feel old until that moment, she said quietly. After weeks of rehab, the doctor's advice was clear. Your bones are thinning. You need more strength, and not from a pill bottle, from your plate. That's when she discovered the power of eggs and cheese, two humble ingredients, often overlooked, that can rebuild what time has quietly worn down. Here's why this pairing works so beautifully. Eggs are rich in vitamin D, the key that unlocks your body's ability to absorb calcium, the mineral that makes up the framework of your bones and keeps your muscles firing properly. But calcium doesn't do much on its own. Without enough vitamin D, it simply passes through. And that's where cheese comes in. Cheese, especially aged types like cheddar, Gouda, or Parmesan, provides highly bioavailable calcium, meaning your body can absorb and use it easily. When combined with the vitamin D in eggs, this duo doesn't just maintain bone health, it actively rebuilds it. Add in the protein from both foods, and you have a meal that also supports muscle maintenance, crucial for preventing falls and keeping your balance sharp. Mrs. Allen didn't have to overhaul her life. She started small. A soft scrambled egg with a sprinkle of cheddar, cooked slowly on low heat. Sometimes she added spinach or mushrooms, sometimes a slice of whole grain toast. But what mattered most was the consistency. Over the months, she noticed a change. Her walking improved, her energy steadied. Her doctor was stunned at her post-rehab recovery. But more importantly, she felt stronger. She began walking her neighborhood loop again. One arm linked with a neighbor, her steps more confident than before. You see, strength doesn't always come from the gym. Sometimes it comes from the stove. Mrs. Allen at her kitchen table, morning sunlight on her silver hair, gently grating a bit of Gouda onto her eggs. A small act of care that speaks volumes. If you've ever worried about a fall, if you've ever hesitated before stepping into the shower, reaching for the banister a little tighter than you used to, this combination might be exactly what your body's been asking for. And next, we'll explore a food pairing that not only keeps your digestion smooth, it also boosts your immune system, balances your gut, and keeps you light on your feet all day long. Eggs and apples, a gentle pairing that heals your gut and lifts your energy. Some mornings, Gary didn't eat breakfast at all. At 66, the retired postman from North Carolina found that eggs, though healthy, often left his stomach feeling heavy. Bloated. It just sat there, he said, like my body didn't know what to do with it. And yet, skipping breakfast left him lightheaded by mid-morning, weak in the knees during his garden walk, and reaching for snacks that never really satisfied him. It felt like a lose-lose. That changed the day his daughter, a nurse, suggested something simple. Dad, just add an apple. It sounded silly at first, but what Gary didn't realize is that apples and eggs work together in a way that transforms how your body handles both. Eggs, as we know, are rich in protein and healthy fats. They provide lasting energy, but only if your body can process them smoothly. And that's where the apple comes in. Apples contain a unique type of soluble fiber called pectin. It's gentle, but powerful. It slows digestion just enough to allow your body to fully absorb the nutrients from eggs, without the bloating, the sluggishness, or the crash. Pectin also helps feed the good bacteria in your gut, which improves immunity and keeps inflammation in check. But it doesn't stop there. Apples are also rich in vitamin C, which plays a critical role in helping your body absorb iron, a mineral found in eggs that supports oxygen transport and fights fatigue. Without vitamin C, that iron often goes underutilized. But with it, you feel clearer, brighter, more awake. And all that from a piece of fruit. Gary started with a simple change. He sliced a crisp apple, Granny Smith or Honeycrisp, and ate it alongside his scrambled eggs. Sometimes he made a light salad with chopped hard-boiled eggs, diced apple, a few spinach leaves, and a dollop of Greek yogurt dressing. Nothing fancy, just real food. Within days, his digestion calmed. The heaviness disappeared, his energy became steady, not spiked and crashed, but carried. And maybe most important of all, he looked forward to breakfast again. Not as a gamble, but as a promise. Because the right combination doesn't just feed your stomach. It gives your body what it's been asking for, balance. Gary in his garden, holding a fresh apple in one hand, a small plate of egg salad in the other. The breeze moves the leaves behind him. His smile is quiet but real. If you've ever skipped a meal because of bloating, if you've ever felt tired after eating instead of energized, this could be the shift that changes your mornings and your day. And next, we'll dive into one of the most overlooked parts of this entire conversation. Not just what you eat with eggs, but how you cook them. Because the wrong method can destroy nutrients, and the right one can unlock their full healing power. Cooking eggs the right way, unlocking the healing power hidden inside. Helen, 83, had always prided herself on keeping things simple. A tidy kitchen, a few favorite recipes, a small white timer she'd kept since 1962, the year she got married. She didn't cook as much anymore. Her hands weren't as strong, and standing too long made her knees ache. But every morning, she made one thing. Eggs. Sometimes scrambled, sometimes fried, sometimes soft-boiled. But recently, something felt off. After breakfast, her stomach felt unsettled. She'd feel tired, even after a full night's sleep. It didn't make sense, she said. Eggs are supposed to be good for you. And they are. But like so many things in life, how you do something matters as much as what you do. The truth is, eggs are incredibly nutrient-dense, packed with protein, choline, B vitamins, and antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin. But when cooked the wrong way, too hot, too long, or with the wrong oil, those nutrients break down before your body ever gets a chance to use them. Let's break it down simply. Scrambling eggs on high heat destroys delicate nutrients like vitamin B12 and choline. Frying eggs in butter or low-quality vegetable oils can create inflammatory compounds, the very thing we're trying to avoid. And eating eggs raw, despite what some fads claim, blocks the absorption of biotin, vitamin B7, and carries the risk of foodborne illness. But there's good news, and Helen found it in a small change. She started steaming her eggs. Using a little countertop steamer, she placed her eggs inside, set the timer for 11 minutes, and walked away. No smoke, no grease, no mess. The result? Perfectly tender eggs, whites just set, yolks creamy and golden. And something else changed too. Her digestion improved, her energy evened out. She stopped reaching for antacids after breakfast. Other methods work just as well. Soft-boiled eggs, 6 minutes, preserve choline and lutein, giving your brain and eyes what they need. Poached eggs, gently simmered in water, avoid any added fat or heat damage. Low-heat scrambled eggs, stirred slowly in a non-stick pan, stay soft, fluffy, and full of their original nutrition. As for oils, Helen now uses a teaspoon of avocado oil, high in vitamin E and with a smoke point that protects the food, not destroys it. And the best part? It didn't take energy. It gave her energy. Because cooking eggs right isn't about gourmet technique, it's about respecting what's already inside them and honoring what your body deserves. Helen, sitting quietly by the window, steam rising from a small plate of eggs on her tray, her hands still, her gaze steady, the light outside soft like a sigh of relief. If you've ever felt let down by a meal you thought would nourish you, if your breakfast leaves you tired, heavy, or foggy, try this. Just once, a steamed or soft-boiled egg cooked with care. You might feel the difference before you even finish chewing. Now we've walked through what not to pair with eggs and what to embrace. We've talked about digestion, energy, and strength. But there's one more piece left to this story, the piece that connects it all, not with science, but with feeling, and that's where we go next. One egg, one small change, and a life that feels yours again. Some people think transformation has to be big, but Linda knows better. She's 74 now, lives alone in a little house in Oregon with a garden full of lavender and an old cat named Charlie. For years, sleep was her enemy. She'd fall asleep fine, but around 2:30 a.m. her legs would cramp or her stomach would churn, and she'd lie awake in the dark, staring at the ceiling, wondering if this was just how life after 70 was supposed to feel. Her doctor prescribed sleeping pills. They worked, for a while. But deep down, Linda didn't want to rely on them forever. Then one night, after watching a video just like this, she decided to try something different. She made a simple salad for dinner. Soft-boiled eggs, sliced apples, a little arugula, and a spoonful of Greek yogurt dressing with lemon. No expectations, no promises, just curiosity. That night, she slept through till morning, the next night too, and the next. Within 3 weeks, she tucked the pill bottle into the back of her drawer, untouched ever since. Linda didn't just sleep better, she started living better. Because when your body feels calm, when your balance steadies, your digestion settles, your mind clears, you start saying yes to walks again, to visits, to joy. You feel safe in your body again, and that changes everything. You've now seen what a single egg can do when paired the right way. You've learned the 3 food pairings to avoid that quietly rob you of nutrients and energy: white bread, soy, and tea. The 3 powerhouse combinations that restore vision, strengthen bones, and soothe digestion: pumpkin, cheese, and apples. And the cooking methods that unlock the healing inside an egg without needing a single prescription. This wasn't a nutrition lesson. This was a reminder you still have power over how you feel each day. Your body might be aging, yes, but it's still listening, still responding, still ready to heal. So now I want to hear from you. Type the number that feels like your story. Type 1 if you've ever woken up with leg cramps or bloating that ruined your morning. Type 2 if you felt that wave of dizziness, that sudden fear of falling even inside your own home. Type 3 if you're ready to try just one new way of eating eggs this week. A small shift toward feeling stronger, clearer, and steadier. Drop your number in the comments. I read them all. It might help someone feel less alone. No meds, just real food made with care. If this helped you, share it with someone you love, because sometimes healing starts with breakfast, not a prescription. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay curious, and I'll see you next time.